What is going on, everybody? Sam Dog, the infamous 253, coming at you guys with my buddy Dallas Stewart, and we are ready to do the Week 2 game picks of the 2019 NFL season. Dallas, say what's up, man?
What's up?
I mean, we were just together last night watching the Raiders and the Broncos Monday Night Football game last night, along with the Texans and Saints before that. So we appreciate you guys that came into the live streams to hang with us and chat with us about the game. But now we are officially in Week 2, ready to get it going. First up, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Carolina Panthers, Thursday Night Football. Carolina Panthers obviously coming off of a loss to the Los Angeles Rams back on Sunday where Cam Newton was just getting beat up by sacks. McCaffrey was the only good thing going for them. I mean, it was a close game, but of course, I think they tried to come in. It was too late by the time they got within range. But Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jameis Winston coming off of his worst performance through 3 interceptions, 2 of which were returned for touchdowns against the 49ers. Buccaneers and Panthers, yeah, both coming off of losses. And I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers going to 1-1 on Thursday Night Football, and the Buccaneers will be 0-2.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take Carolina as well to bounce back from that tough loss against the Rams. I just wasn't really all that impressed with Tampa Bay on Sunday. Winston had a bad game. I have them falling to 0-2 as well.
All right. Up next, we got the Arizona Cardinals at the Baltimore Ravens. Kyler Murray led an impressive comeback, but yet that game ended in a tie last week against the Detroit Lions. Baltimore Ravens pistol whipped the shit out of the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, this is an easy pick. Ravens win big at home against Arizona. I'm taking Baltimore Ravens making it 2-0. And Lamar Jackson in that game is the youngest quarterback to have a perfect passer rating. He had like 158.3 for his passer rating in that game, I think it was. Correct me in the comments. Dallas?
I'm going to go with Baltimore to get to 2-0. They looked dominant last week, beating up the poor Dolphins in Miami. I just can't see Arizona going across the country and pulling off this upset.
Yeah,
I really like Baltimore to win the AFC North this year.
Yeah, was Lamar Jackson's rating that high? Was that what it was? Because I think that's what they were saying it was on TV earlier, or from what I've seen with on ESPN and NFL Network, what they were talking about. All right. Now I gotta look.
Yeah, they had 636 total yards against Miami.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson threw 5 touchdown passes. Hell, even RG3 threw a touchdown in that game. So yeah, we got the Ravens.
I'm kind of worried about that Baltimore game next month.
Oh yeah, I mean wait till Baltimore plays a good team though, really good team though. See what happens though. See if Lamar can keep his momentum. Up next, we got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Detroit Lions. We just talked about what happened with the Lions and Cardinals last week. Chargers got taken to overtime against Jacoby Brissett and the Colts back on Sunday, which was a pretty big surprise. But yet Phillip Rivers was able to hit Austin Eckler, and Eckler had a big game, and Eckler basically won them the game in overtime. This game's in Detroit though, but it's obvious who I'm taking. I'm taking the Los Angeles Chargers to get the 2-0.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Los Angeles Chargers, even though they're on the road. I think they'll play a little bit better than they did last week. Maybe Detroit will be feeling let down because they really let that game slip away against Arizona. They should have won that game.
They should have. They freaking choked big time. I mean, let Kyler Murray come back. But yeah.
I like the Chargers getting to 2-0.
Yeah, other than that, I gotta say something, guys. I printed out the paper to list all the games. So how me and Dallas are gonna do this, I think we're gonna make this a thing from now on. Is I'm gonna circle the games we agree on that we both picked. For the teams we both pick. If we split on one, I'm gonna put an S for my name above the team I picked, and Dallas is going to I'm going to put a D for Dallas above the team that he picked. So that's how we're going to do this from now on. But other than that, we got Chargers versus we both agreed on the Chargers and the Lions. Up next, we got the Indianapolis Colts versus the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, we were talking about it. The Colts took the Chargers to overtime and ultimately didn't get the ball, and Chargers drove down the field and scored the game-winning touchdown with Austin Eckler. Tennessee Titans was never buying the noise of the Cleveland Browns in the first place, and they go into Cleveland and they just freaking pistol whip the crap out of them, 43-13 in Cleveland. Just smacked Baker Mayfield right in the mouth heavily. I mean, they just silenced that crowd heavily, and Browns fans were so pissed after the Butler interception that they were throwing beer on the guy, and that guy is now going to be banned indefinitely. Crazy shit, but you know who I'm taking. I'm taking Mariota and the Titans winning big at home. I'm taking the Titans.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Titans to keep it rolling as well. They look like they had one of the more dominant wins on Sunday. The way they stuck it to the Browns. I'm taking the Titans.
Yeah, big time. Up next, we got the San Francisco 49ers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, 49ers got to play Jameis Winston last week, and Jameis Winston was at his worst with those 3 interceptions, 2 pick sixes. Cincinnati Bengals, obviously, you know the story. We barely squeaked by them with that 1-point win over the Bengals. John Ross and Andy Dalton lit it up against our defense, and Dalton had the all-time high for 418 passing yards. Although Joe Mixon was hurt, we shut him down and along with their running game until Giovanni Bernard got a little bit, and then we were able to shut them down. And then the way that our game against the Bengals ended, I mean, I really honestly thought the Bengals at least should have gotten at least one more play to try like a Hail Mary or something, because I thought that was like an incomplete pass because that hand looked like it was going more forward and the ball didn't slip out for a fumble. But of course, they ruled it in favor of Rasheem Green getting the strip sack, and we recovered it. I'm grateful for a win, but that's just an honest opinion. But Bengals have got to be pissed about this, and you know something? I'm gonna take, and you know, I would love to see John Ross go out there. Bengals are at home. You know, the Bengals fans usually show up in the jungle in Cincy. I'm gonna take Cincinnati in a close matchup. I'm taking the Bengals winning this one, winning at home against the 49ers. I'm taking the Bengals.
I gotta go with the Bengals. I gotta go with the Bengals. The San Francisco didn't really impress me that much. I mean, they played Tampa. Jameis Winston looked really bad. I think with Cincinnati being at home, that's going to make the difference.
And John Ross
that might be a close game.
And John Ross is looking to be the potential replacement to AJ Green when AJ Green retires. I mean, John Ross, he's looking like he's going to be the replacement to AJ Green, the replacement number 1. He lit it up against us, and I think he'll repeat, except this time giving the Bengals a win over the 49ers.
I don't want to see San Francisco get to 2-0.
Hell no, man. So we got Bengals. Up next, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. Texans coming off of a heartbreaking loss under a minute to go. They scored way too fast against the Saints, and Drew Brees was able to set up Will Lutz for that game-winning 58-yard field goal. Jacksonville Jaguars, let's just say Duval is fucked since they lost Nick Foles. They lost Nick Foles for all the way up to week 11. Now, basically, it is the Gardner Minshew era beginning in Duval. And we all know that story. The question is, I mean, he looked good in his first 13 passes. If he can keep up, I mean, do you think people in Jacksonville will be buying those fake mustaches just like all those people in Pullman at Washington State? Maybe. But we all know who we're obviously picking. Like I said it earlier, Duval is effed. I am taking Deshaun Watson to play big time and murder the Jags. I'm taking the Houston Texans.
I'm taking the Texans as well. They're going to be irritated after that heartbreaking loss because they really, they blew it against the Saints. I just can't see Minshew beating the Texans, so I like Houston bouncing back and getting a 1-1.
Yeah, and Jacksonville will be 0-2 after getting pistol whipped by Kansas City. Yep, basically that. All right, I think we have a toss-up here on this one. Type 1. Up next, we got the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers. We all know what happened last back on Sunday. The Vikings totally shut down Atlanta's offense and just beat them down. And Kirk Cousins was looking pretty good in that game. I watched the highlights, and just saw that how bad the Atlanta offense was looking against the freaking Minnesota defense. Green Bay, as we all know, squeaked out that 10-3 win on the kickoff night against the Chicago Bears. That defense of Green Bay was shutting down the Bears offense. Mitchell Trubisky could not get anything going against them. Aaron Rodgers had a rough night, got sacked 5 times, but Green Bay's defense was keeping them in it the entire time. But like I've said before in the past, I never sleep on Aaron Rodgers because of, he keeps the games close and when he's on, he's on. But this is a toss-up game, but the game's in Lambeau Field, so I gotta give the edge to the Packers. I'm taking Green Bay.
I gotta take Green Bay as well. They are at Lambeau. Remember, they tied with them in Week 2 last year. I like them getting a close victory and getting to 2-0. That's a 50-50 game. If Minnesota plays like they did on offense last week,
at home against Atlanta.
Green Bay. Against Atlanta, Green Bay is going to have a challenge on their hands. Can Green Bay replicate what they did last week against the Bears? I think they're going to be going against a much better offense. And they could have their hands. They could be up against it. Their defense.
Yeah. And what about the Vikings defense? Obviously we know they got Anthony Barr, the man who freaking broke Rodgers' collarbone in 2017, and then Danielle Hunter. And I don't think Sendejo's on the Vikings anymore, is he?
I don't think so, but don't they still have Xavier Rhodes?
They still got Rhodes, yeah.
That might be the toughest game of the weekend to predict, because those division games, those are the hardest games to pick.
Yeah.
I got to go with Green Bay just because they're at Lambeau. And I think they got something to prove this year after missing the playoffs 2 years in a row.
True. All right, up next, NFC East game. Dallas Cowboys at the Washington Redskins. We all saw the Redskins blow that big lead to the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Cowboys just ran wild all over the New York Giants, and Dak Prescott, Randall Cobb, Jason Witten being back. I think he had 3 touchdown passes, 2 to tight ends, and then 1 to Randall Cobb, and then Zeke Elliott had a big touchdown run, and the Cowboys were just running wild all over the Giants. So I got the Dallas Cowboys going to 2-0 against the Redskins. I'm taking Dallas.
God, Washington's going to be disappointed that they couldn't close that deal out. I know the game's in Landover. Case Keenum looked pretty good. He threw for like 380.
Yeah, he did.
I really want to go with Washington, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys. Because, then they play Miami at home, and then they got 2 tough ones at New Orleans, and then home against Green Bay. But I got to go with the Cowboys, because just because I think I'm not sold on Washington.
Yeah.
They should have beat the Eagles, but they blew it.
They choked. The Redskins choked heavily. Big time, man. All right, up next.
Although I would love to see the Redskins beat the Cowboys. So.
If it would be an upset, maybe it could happen. All right. Up next, our game. Seahawks Steelers, all the way over in Pittsburgh. We all know what happened. And I've been looking at some of the polls saying that some of the people, they're calling us underdogs in this game because we're going on the road just because of our performance against Cincinnati. But then again, you look at Pittsburgh's poor-ass performance against the New England Patriots where they never even showed up on offense and never even showed up on defense, and their defense just got heavily pistol whipped by Brady and that receiving core with Josh Gordon and Julian Edelman and Dorsett. I mean, it was just awful, but I'm still not sleeping on Ben Roethlisberger and Juju Smith-Schuster, but they had no answers for the Patriots last week, too. I mean, I'm still not going to sleep on them. Obviously, we still got our issues to fix with the offensive line and, of course, our secondary. But other than that, Quentin Jefferson went off last week against the Cincinnati Bengals, had 2 sacks on Andy Dalton. Jadeveon Clowney's effect was known, too. He got a sack, which was the drive that held him to that field goal that they made to make it 20-21, which would be key. And then also DK Metcalf, our rookie receiver, was going off. We should be possibly be getting Ziggy Ansah and LJ Collier back maybe this week, depending on what happens, because they said that we got some key guys, got some guys returning to practice. But all I gotta say is, after seeing it, I am confident in our guys. I think we can go into Pittsburgh, and I think we could steal one. I'm taking my team, also. I'm taking the Seahawks to go in and steal one in Pittsburgh. I'm taking Seattle. I'm taking my Hawks, baby.
I gotta go with the Seahawks too. I know we're not gonna get the same Pittsburgh team last week. I know they probably threw that film away, and that they are at home, and you got some guys on the defensive front that could make problems for our offensive line.
Hayward.
I mean,
Devin Bush.
With New Orleans on the schedule next, this is a game they need to get.
Exactly. We have to take this one.
I mean, this is it's hard to say must win in week 2, but it's as close to a must win.
Yep.
This is a game you got to get. And plus, I want to end that streak of losing in Pittsburgh. I don't think we've won there since 2003.
Nah, man, we haven't won there since 2003, but I'm not confident in Pittsburgh's secondary, especially with how they got burnt by all those receivers, man. So I could possibly see this as a field day.
We have to get off to a better start, and we cannot fall victim to a trap.
Yeah, can't fall victim to a trap. Offense. If we get the ball first, we got to start off fast, and I'm talking like Metcalf or a bomb to Metcalf or a bomb to Lockett. Or
yeah, but I have the Seahawks getting to 2-0. I have them playing a little bit better.
And we got Pittsburgh getting to one of their worst starts since 2013. So yep, take the Seahawks going into Steel City and stealing one and putting Big Ben. Hopefully Jadeveon Clowney and Quentin Jefferson can keep it going up, and hopefully we get LJ and Ziggy back. Hopefully those guys will be putting fat Ben on his fat ass.
And hopefully Nord's prediction is wrong when he predicted a loss.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Pittsburgh didn't even show me anything. If they had played a little bit better, if it was closer, if they had somehow upset New England, I would have been a little bit more worried. But I think there's a 70% chance they win this game.
Yeah.
I'm feeling my confidence meter is pretty high for this one.
Yeah, but, still not sleeping on Ben, but let's go put him on his ass. All right, up next we got the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Giants. The Bills are going back to MetLife Stadium for the second week in a row. Has that ever happened before, when the freaking Bills had to play the Jets and Giants in back-to-back weeks whenever the AFC East and NFC East had to meet in the season? I don't think that's ever happened before, where the Bills had to start off at MetLife Stadium in the first 2 weeks against both the Jets and the Giants. Did it ever happen back when both the Giants and Jets were playing in Giant Stadium before MetLife Stadium happened? Tell me that, folks. That's what I want to freaking know. But we all watched the Giants get whipped pretty heavily by the freaking by the Dallas Cowboys. Bills were able to come back and squeak out a win by 1 point against the Jets, which Gangrene David was pretty pissed about, as we all saw. So, I mean, Josh Allen led a good comeback. They were definitely rusty in the first half, and then that fourth quarter changed everything. Giants, man, I don't know. Saquon Barkley did have some good runs. He did have 100 rushing yards in that game, but I don't know. Eli Manning's obviously still going to be out there, but I'm saying I'm I'm going to have to take the Bills to get the 2-0 in this one. I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah, I got to take the Bills. I think it's going to be another long year for the Giants. Side of the Bills getting off to a surprisingly 2-0 start.
Yeah, and then obviously, when do the Giants fans start chanting for Daniel Jones? I think it could change. I think maybe Giants' hopes could change that they, decide to, depending on what Eli Manning does. I mean, if Eli can play good, and if he's just doesn't do good, could we see Daniel Jones this season for the Giants?
We very well could be.
Yeah, but who knows what happens. All right, up next we got Patriots Dolphins in Miami. We all know the story of what happened last year. Me and Dallas's best red zone reaction from the miracle, but the miracle's not happening. Dolphins are screwed. Patriots in a big win.
Yeah, Patriots are just going to go down there and lay a smackdown on them. Maybe your friend was right. Maybe the Dolphins could go on 16. It looks like an absolute fire sale. I heard rumors of players wanting out.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I think they're going to be. I think they might get the number 1 pick in the draft.
Tank for Tua.
Or they might be in the running for it.
Tank for Tua, but the race will be for these top quarterbacks coming out in this next draft. Tua, Justin Herbert, those are the top 2. But then again, will Trevor Lawrence stay at Clemson to try and go all 4 years winning the national championship? That's one thing I think I remain waiting to see, Will Trevor Lawrence stay all the way through, be smart, and graduate before going to the NFL? But yep, we got the Patriots laying a smackdown in Miami on the Dolphins. Dolphins are about to be 0-2. Up next, 1 p.m. slate of games. We got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Oakland future Las Vegas Raiders. In Oakland, we all watched the Raiders have that. Me and you obviously both live streamed the Raiders-Broncos games. Josh Jacobs making history, joining elite company for a rookie running back's debut where he had 100 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. First time a rookie running back did that since LaDainian Tomlinson in 2001. And obviously the Chiefs are coming out of pistol whipping the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tyreek Hill is going to be out because he hurt his shoulder. Mahomes was a little bit banged up, hobbling, but he still finished the game. We all expect Mahomes to come out. Tyrell Williams was looking pretty good for the Raiders. And Cleveland Farrell on that defense, he had an immediate impact in that freaking game. How many sacks did Cleveland Farrell have last night for the Raiders?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he had a couple of sacks. Different story, though. It's Kansas City. It's the defending MVP, Patrick Mahomes, coming into the Coliseum for the final time before the Raiders go to Vegas. I got the Chiefs winning the last ever Chiefs-Raiders game in Oakland. In Oakland, I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs.
Take the Chiefs as well to get to 2-0. I think the Raiders are going to have a little bit of a letdown. That was a pretty big win to open your season in the final Monday night game ever at the Coliseum. I think they're going to have a little bit of a letdown. And I just think the Chiefs are on such a mission this year.
Yeah, but can I also mention something about that kid, Josh Jacobs? Great story. The kid was, it was a rough time for him, in his early years, living in a car with his family, but then he just grinded out with football, got the full ride to Bama, and did he win I don't think he won the Heisman, did he? I think he was a finalist for the Heisman, but I don't quite remember. But Josh Jacobs, incredible story from that beginning, and then just getting the chance, and he showed that he can make it last night. So I gotta say, I hope for the best for Josh Jacobs. He definitely earned his way to the NFL, and I hope for success for him. So I just gotta give him that. But we're taking the Chiefs in this game,
Yeah.
Yeah. Look up his story, man. Look up Josh Jacobs' story sometime. It's a pretty good one. Up next, we know the story of this one. A rematch of the NFC Championship game from last year. The controversial missed call on the pass interference. The Saints have had this game marked on their calendar ever since then, and the Saints are out for blood. But this time the game is at the LA Coliseum in Los Angeles. We got the New Orleans Saints at the Los Angeles Rams. Obviously, the Rams are coming off of making life hell for Cam Newton, but struggled against the run and Christian McCaffrey. But the Saints defense, the Saints struggled a bit at first, as we both saw Drew Brees throw that interception to Whitney Merciless. But you can never count out Drew Brees, as we saw in the final seconds of that Monday night game between the Saints and the Texans to set up Will Lutz for that game-winning field goal. Marcus Davenport is going to be hungry on that one. Cam Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore, and, of course, Eli Apple in the secondary. Of course, and then, of course, Wilson had the interception last in that game, too. But Saints fans and Saints, they are pissed. They are still pissed about what happened in the NFC Championship. And I think they're out. I think the Saints are out for blood. I'm going to take the Saints getting revenge and going. They're out for blood. I would not be surprised if they decide to try to have their defensive guys go out there and just keep on hitting Goff the way that they hit Favre in that NFC Championship game back in 2009 season. I'm taking New Orleans in this one. They want this one bad. They're hungry for it.
I'm taking New Orleans as well, even though it's on the road. This will probably be the best game of the entire weekend. You're right. They're going to be up for this game, and they've had this game scheduled since the schedule came out, or circled since the schedule came out. I'm taking the Saints to get to 2-0.
All right. Up next, we got the Chicago Bears versus the Denver Broncos in Denver at Mile High. Obviously, both teams 0-1. The Bears couldn't do anything on offense against the Packers, and their offense got shut down by the Packers' defense, surprisingly. Broncos, obviously, were getting owned all night. Flacco could not get anything done against the Raiders until he finally threw his first touchdown, but it was too little, too late. And we all know what happened, but Khalil Mack taking on an old AFC West rival from Khalil Mack's time with the Raiders, but now Khalil Mack, obviously a Chicago Bear, and obviously Von Miller and Bradley Chubb on that Broncos defense. Both these teams are pissed to be 0-1, but I think it's going to be the Broncos that will be 0-2. I'm taking Mitchell Trubisky. I'm taking the Bears defense. I'm taking the Bears to bounce back and get to 1-1. I'm taking Chicago in Denver.
I got to go with Chicago as well. I think their offense is going to look a little bit better, but Denver's always a really tough place to play. But they didn't really show. Denver really didn't look good to me last night. They didn't really show me anything. And Chicago wants to really try to avoid an 0-2 hole. I mean, because if they lose, they'll be 2 games behind, no matter who wins that game between Minnesota and Green Bay. So I'm going to take Chicago to get to 1-1.
All right. Up next, Sunday primetime slate. Obviously, Thursday night football is primetime too. But Sunday night football, we got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Atlanta Falcons. We all watched the Eagles make that big comeback against the Washington Redskins, and the Falcons just couldn't get anything done offensively against the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota back on Sunday. And Eagles defense, we all know that story, but it was the Deshaun Jackson show in that comeback against the Washington Redskins, and then obviously it was the defense of Minnesota shutting down Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, and just the offense and Diggs going off on the Falcons defense too. But Philadelphia, Carson Wentz, he was poised to lead that comeback, and he just did it with ease. I'm gonna have to take, and then the Eagles defense too. Fletcher Cox and Derek Barnett, that pass rush. I'm gonna take the Philadelphia Eagles winning on primetime in Atlanta. I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles winning again, going to 2-0.
I think Eagles might have a little bit of a letdown.
You think so?
I mean, they didn't look good in the first half. against Washington. I'm going to actually go with the Falcons to bounce back. This is going to be a very big game for them. They are at home. It's prime time. It's a rematch of that playoff game from 2 years ago.
Yep.
That 15-10 goal line stand.
Okay. Yep.
Falcons do not. I mean, I'm really starting to lose faith in them, and if they don't make the playoffs this year, I think Quinn's gone. I think our buddy Dan Quinn is gone.
Yeah.
So
we got our first S&D.
I'm gonna roll the dice and say Atlanta avoids an 0-2 start.
So we got our first S&D. I picked the Eagles. You picked the Falcons. But let's see what happens. You know, I mean, last split, I got that one as we saw last night. So can you get this one on Sunday Night Football? We'll have to see. All right, last but not least, Monday Night Football. The Cleveland Browns, the 0-1 Browns against the overhyped Cleveland Browns against the New York Jets with the big letdown against the Buffalo Bills. Now, the New York Jets just acquired they just signed Sam Ficken to try to be their new kicker, and they just made a trade today with the New England Patriots for Demaryius Thomas. So they went out and got Demaryius Thomas for Sam Darnold today.
Wait, the Jets acquired Demaryius Thomas?
Yes, the Jets acquired Demaryius Thomas today. And Cleveland Browns, obviously, they looked just terrible. They got overconfident. Baker Mayfield got overconfident, and he got smacked in the mouth. This is a rematch of that infamous Thursday night game where Tyrod Taylor got hurt, and Baker Mayfield came in and led that comeback against the Jets. This time, it's not in Cleveland. It's in MetLife Stadium, Monday Night Football. And this time, I mean, C.J. Mosley got hurt for the Jets, too. So I mean, that was tough. I mean, for Mosley not being out there, being able to call the plays as they were happening to have that defense set. But I don't know. I'm going to let you go first on this one. Who you got?
I'm going to go with the Jets. I do think Cleveland is going to play a lot better. Probably better. It's prime time. Hey, how about this? Odell... It's so kind of his return to MetLife, except he's not playing the Giants.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's not playing the Giants.
He's playing the Jets, but it's his return, but he's not playing the team that he used to play for.
It's a semi-return.
But I like the Jets to bounce back. They completely just choked that game away against the Bills with Vedvik missing a 52-yarder. And then missing an extra point. I'm going to go with the Jets to squeak it out and get to 1-1.
All right, put a circle around the Jets. So that's you and me with the Jets on that one, and that's basically it. So here is the list. We agreed on Panthers, Buccaneers. We agreed on Ravens and Cardinals, Chargers and Lions, Titans and Colts. We picked the Bengals to beat the 49ers. We picked the Texans to beat the Jags. We picked the Packers to win against the Vikings, but it was a coin toss on that one. We picked the Cowboys to beat the Redskins. We picked our Seahawks to go into Pittsburgh and win. So, yep, got our Seahawks going in to hope to try and steal a win in Pittsburgh. We got the Bills possibly barely squeaking out past the Giants. We got the Patriots kicking the shit out of the Dolphins. We got the Chiefs winning their last ever trip to Oakland. We got the Saints getting revenge. We got the Bears getting the 1-1. And we got the Jets. We agreed on the Jets and the Browns. And you see the S and the D's. I don't know. It looks backwards on here. But you see the S and my name over the Eagles and Dallas is over the Falcons. So that's pretty much it for that. Let me know your game picks down in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and that's pretty much our picks for the weekend. I'll probably come back with a keys to the game later in the week. Maybe I'll have Dallas on here this time to do it with me, because I'm not so sure about with Norb doing it on his channel this time. I'll hit him up eventually later on, see what we want to do. If not, I'll probably do it with you. Is that cool, Dallas?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sam Dog and Dallas signing out. And remember, if you ain't with it, you ain't infamous. And as always, go Seahawks.